Welcome to our channel, the place where knowledge meets curiosity. Here, we dive deep into the wonders of history, science, culture, and mysteries that shape our world. Every video is designed to open your mind and spark your imagination. So sit back, relax, and let's begin this incredible journey together. Now, we explain the creation of the world in Greek mythology.
In the beginning, there was nothing. The universe, as the Greeks imagined it, did not emerge from matter or energy as modern science describes it, but from a profound void known as chaos. Chaos was not simply emptiness. It was a swirling, ineffable space of potential, a boundless abyss that contained within it the seeds of everything yet to exist. From this vast emptiness arose the first primordial beings, each representing essential elements of the world. Chaos itself gave birth to Nyx, the embodiment of night, and Erebus, the embodiment of darkness. These two primordial entities, subtle and powerful, existed without form, floating in the void, their presence shaping the first contours of reality. Nyx and Erebus were not gods in the traditional sense. They were fundamental forces, the earliest stirrings of life and existence, foreshadowing the complex pantheon of Greek mythology that would later emerge. From this state of raw potential emerged Gaia, the earth, solid and enduring. Gaia rose as a nurturing force, a maternal figure that would become the foundation for all life. She was fertile and sustaining, the bedrock of the cosmos, yet in the earliest myths, she existed alone, floating above the formless chaos. Her presence marked the first tangible structure in the universe, a firm landmass where life and gods could later take shape. The Greeks imagined Gaia not just as a landmass, but as a living entity, aware and sentient, capable of action and thought. She was the first mother, the great progenitor whose influence would permeate every aspect of existence. From Gaia's fertile essence, the seeds of life and divinity began to germinate, setting the stage for the unfolding drama of creation. Gaia, in her loneliness, created Uranus, the sky, to cover her and embrace her. Uranus was vast, encompassing, a cosmic canopy that stretched endlessly, separating the heavens from the earth. Their union marked the first act of procreation in the Greek cosmogony, a symbolic merging of the terrestrial and celestial. From this divine union came the first generation of children, the Titans, powerful beings whose existence would define the early mythic order. Among these Titans were Oceanus, the god of the great river encircling the world, Coeus, representing intellect and inquiry, Crius, associated with the constellations, Hyperion, the god of light, Iapetus, the father of mortal life, and Cronus, who would later play a pivotal role in the cosmic narrative. These Titans were embodiments of natural forces, each reflecting a particular aspect of the cosmos. They were immense in power and stature, larger than life, yet they were also children in the cosmic family, bound to Gaia and Uranus. In addition to the Titans, Gaia and Uranus produced the Cyclopes and the Hecatoncheires. The Cyclopes were one-eyed giants, master craftsmen of extraordinary skill, whose creations would later shape the destiny of gods and men alike. The Hecatoncheires, with their 100 hands and 50 heads, were formidable beings, representing chaos and raw strength. Yet Uranus, fearful of their power and difference, despised them and imprisoned them deep within Gaia herself, pushing them into the dark chasms of Tartarus, a subterranean abyss beneath the earth. Gaia, tormented by the suffering of her children, began to plot against Uranus. Her sorrow and anger gave rise to the first act of rebellion in mythic history, setting the stage for a violent struggle that would reshape the universe.
The narrative of Gaia and Uranus is one of tension, creation, and the inevitability of change. Uranus, as the sky, was both protective and oppressive, embracing Gaia but simultaneously confining her children. This paradox reflects the Greek understanding of nature, life-giving yet often harsh, beautiful yet capable of cruelty. Gaia's response was both cunning and powerful. She crafted a great sickle and called upon her children to arise against their father. Only Cronus, the youngest Titan, dared to heed her call. In a dramatic act of cosmic violence, Cronus ambushed Uranus and severed his genitals, casting them into the sea. From the blood of Uranus that fell upon Gaia, new beings were born. The Erinyes, the Furies, who would pursue vengeance, the Giants, embodiments of raw force and rebellion, and the Meliae, the ash tree nymphs, spirits of the forest. This act of patricide was not merely a moment of brutality, but a symbolic shift in cosmic order, a transfer of power from one generation to the next. The severed genitals of Uranus, thrown into the sea, gave birth to Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty, and desire. Rising from the foam, she emerged as a figure of unparalleled allure and influence, embodying both the sensual and the divine. Her birth is emblematic of creation through violence, a recurring theme in Greek mythology where life and beauty often emerge from suffering and strife. Aphrodite's presence in the cosmos added a new dimension, one of passion and connection, influencing gods and mortals alike, shaping destinies through attraction, love, and desire. As Cronus ascended to power, he became the ruler of the cosmos, yet the cycle of fear and control continued. Cronus, aware of a prophecy that he would be overthrown by his own child, swallowed each of his offspring at birth, perpetuating a cycle of violence reminiscent of his father's tyranny. Rhea, his sister and consort, anguished by the loss of her children, devised a plan to save her youngest, Zeus. She concealed Zeus in a cave on the island of Crete, deceiving Cronus with a swaddled stone in place of the child. Zeus grew in secret, nurtured by nymphs and protected by the earth itself, embodying the hope of change and the promise of a new order. The story of the early cosmos, from chaos to Gaia and Uranus, and then through the Titans to Cronus, illustrates fundamental Greek beliefs about the world. Creation is intertwined with conflict, power is cyclical, and new life emerges from the struggles of the old. The universe is dynamic, governed by forces that are at once nurturing and destructive, embodying both stability and chaos. These myths served not only as stories of the gods, but also as a framework through which the Greeks understood natural phenomena, human behavior, and the eternal tension between order and disorder. By the end of the Titanomachy's precursors, the stage was set for an epic struggle that would define the future of gods and men. Cronus's reign, marked by fear and oppression, mirrored that of Uranus, showing that even in myth, patterns repeat, and the cosmos is governed by cycles of rebellion and succession. The hidden Zeus, nurtured in secret, represents hope, the inevitability of change, and the resilience of life. As the myths unfold, the narrative of creation intertwines with themes of family, power, betrayal, and destiny, illustrating that the universe is as much a moral and psychological landscape as it is a physical one. The tale of the early cosmos in Greek mythology is rich, layered, and deeply symbolic. It begins with the formless void of chaos, evolves through the generative power of Gaia and Uranus, and continues with the rise of the Titans, the suffering and rebellion of imprisoned beings, and the violent transition of power from one generation to the next. It is a story of emergence from nothingness, of structure arising from disorder, and of life blooming from conflict. These myths were not static tales, but living narratives, passed down through generations, reflecting human attempts to understand the origins of the universe, the forces that shape existence, and the enduring interplay of creation and destruction. With the birth of Zeus hidden away on the island of Crete, the delicate balance of power in the cosmos began to shift. Cronus, who had swallowed each of his children to prevent the prophecy of his overthrow, remained unaware that Zeus had survived. The infant god was nurtured by the nymphs, nourished on the milk of the divine goat Amalthea, and shielded from his father's tyranny.
In the dark caves of Crete, Zeus grew in strength and wisdom, learning not only the ways of the divine, but also the principles of leadership, justice, and cunning. These early years of concealment, away from the eyes of Cronus, were crucial for the development of Zeus's character. For in Greek mythology, the future king of gods was shaped as much by adversity as by his divine birth. Rhea, the mother of Zeus, was a figure of maternal ingenuity and courage. She could not stand to lose another child to Cronus's insatiable hunger for power, and she devised a clever plan to save Zeus. By giving Cronus a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes, she tricked him into swallowing the false infant, believing it to be his latest offspring. This act of deception was not merely cleverness, but a pivotal moment in the unfolding cosmic drama. It ensured that the prophecy would have the opportunity to come to fruition while simultaneously highlighting the recurring theme of cunning over brute force in Greek mythology. The stone, inert yet symbolic, became a reminder of the tension between fate and free will, between the inevitability of prophecy and the ingenuity of those who seek to navigate it. Once Zeus reached maturity, he sought to challenge the tyrannical rule of his father. Armed with knowledge, strength, and divine support, he began to plot the liberation of his swallowed siblings and the establishment of a new cosmic order. One of the first steps in this rebellion was the aid of Metis, the Titaness of wisdom and craft. Through her cunning, Zeus prepared a potion that would force Cronus to regurgitate his consumed children, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. As each god emerged from Cronus's body, fully grown and imbued with divine power, the foundations of the future Olympian pantheon were laid. This dramatic rebirth symbolized renewal and the cyclical nature of existence, themes that resonate throughout Greek mythology. With his siblings restored, Zeus faced the monumental task of confronting the Titans, the formidable beings who had ruled before him. This conflict, known as the Titanomachy, was more than a mere battle. It was an epic struggle between generations, a clash between order and chaos, between the old guard and the new. The Titans, led by Cronus, wielded immense power and had deep-rooted authority over the cosmos. Yet Zeus, as a symbol of change and innovation, represented a new paradigm, one that would bring a more structured and just order to the universe. The Titanomachy thus became a defining moment in mythic history, illustrating the recurring theme of succession, the inevitable overthrow of one era by the next, and the tension between the ancient and the emergent. The war raged for 10 years, a cosmic conflict of unparalleled magnitude. The Olympians, led by Zeus, employed strategy, unity, and divine ingenuity to challenge the Titans' brute strength. In this epic struggle, alliances were forged and tested. The Cyclopes, previously imprisoned by Uranus and feared by Cronus, were released by Zeus. Grateful for their liberation, they forged thunderbolts for Zeus, a weapon of unparalleled power. Similarly, the Hecatonchires, with their 100 hands and 50 heads, joined the Olympians, bringing overwhelming strength and ferocity to the battlefield. This gathering of allies reflected a crucial principle in Greek mythology. The unity of forces, when guided by wisdom and purpose, can overcome even the mightiest adversaries. The battles of the Titanomachy were cataclysmic, shaking the very foundations of the cosmos. Mountains crumbled, oceans surged, and the skies were torn by thunderbolts hurled by Zeus. The Titans, though immensely powerful, could not match the combination of strategy, unity, and divine ingenuity that the Olympians wielded. In these narratives, the violence of the war is symbolic, representing the upheaval necessary for creation, the destruction that precedes renewal. The Greeks understood that progress and order often emerge from struggle, that the world's beauty and structure are forged in the crucible of conflict. Eventually, the Titans were defeated. Cronus, once a tyrant who consumed his children, was overthrown and imprisoned in Tartarus, the deep abyss beneath the earth where the imprisoned primordial beings once languished. The Hecatonchires were assigned to guard them, ensuring that the Titans could never again challenge the rule of the Olympians.
This resolution marked the end of one era and the beginning of another, the establishment of a new cosmic order under the leadership of Zeus and his siblings. This division of responsibilities exemplified Greek notions of balance, specialization, and the interdependence of forces in the universe. Each god's domain mirrored aspects of human life and nature, reinforcing the connection between divine order and the world experienced by mortals.
The rise of Zeus and the establishment of the Olympians brought a new era of order, justice, and hierarchy. Zeus, as the ruler of gods and men, embodied authority tempered by wisdom, a leader who balanced power with insight. Yet even as he ascended to supreme authority, the myths caution that Zeus's rule, like that of any god, is not without challenges. Prophecies, rivalries, and the whims of fate continue to shape his actions and decisions, reflecting the Greeks' understanding that even divine power is bound by cosmic laws and moral imperatives. The narratives of Zeus's rise emphasize responsibility, foresight, and the interplay of strength and strategy in leadership. Beyond the political and generational struggle, the Titanomachy also represents profound themes of transformation and renewal. The cosmos, once ruled by fear and oppression under Cronus, was reshaped into a realm where order and justice could prevail. The liberation of the swallowed gods symbolizes rebirth and the resilience of life, while the defeat of the Titans illustrates the inevitability of change. These myths served to explain natural phenomena, social structures, and moral principles, offering the ancient Greeks a framework to understand both the cosmos and human experience. The Titanomachy also underscores the Greek fascination with power, legacy, and the consequences of hubris. Cronus's attempt to circumvent prophecy by consuming his children ultimately failed, showing that attempts to resist fate or suppress change are futile. Similarly, the Titans' resistance to the new order led to their downfall, illustrating that strength alone is insufficient without wisdom, unity, and moral purpose. In this sense, the myths operate on both cosmic and ethical levels, providing narratives that are simultaneously explanations of the universe and reflections on human behavior. With the Olympians in power, the world took on a more structured and interconnected form. The domains of gods overlapped with the realms of mortals, shaping seasons, natural events, and human affairs. Demeter's influence ensured the fertility of the land, Poseidon's dominion governed the unpredictability of the seas, and Hades maintained the balance between life and death in the underworld. The myths portray a universe where divine forces are intimately intertwined with the physical and moral realities of existence, highlighting the Greeks' holistic understanding of the cosmos as a living, dynamic system governed by interconnected powers. Zeus's consolidation of power also introduced the idea of divine justice and moral order. While the Titans had ruled through fear and force, the Olympians, guided by Zeus, established principles that reflected balance, fairness, and the natural hierarchy of existence. Mortals, observing the actions of the gods, could discern lessons about virtue, responsibility, and the consequences of hubris. The myths thus serve dual purposes, as stories of divine intrigue and cosmic creation, and as ethical guides that illuminate human conduct and the natural order.
With the Titanomachy concluded and the Titans imprisoned in Tartarus, the Olympians ascended to their rightful place on Mount Olympus, a lofty and radiant realm beyond the clouds, a home befitting gods of their magnitude. Mount Olympus was not merely a geographical location. It was a symbol of divine authority, power, and eternal stability. The palace of the gods, resplendent with golden halls and shimmering light, was a place where the Olympians convened to deliberate, celebrate, and exert influence over the cosmos and mortals. From this vantage point, the gods maintained balance across the earth, seas, and skies, intervening in human affairs when destiny, justice, or divine desire required it. The settlement of the Olympians marked the final consolidation of power in the cosmos, establishing a new order where divine influence would permeate every aspect of existence. Zeus, as the king of gods, embodied supreme authority tempered by wisdom and foresight. His rule was not absolute tyranny,
but it carefully maintained equilibrium between divine power, moral responsibility, and cosmic order. He governed with judgment, meting out justice to gods and mortals alike, and ensuring that the laws of the universe were respected. Hera, his sister and consort, oversaw marriage, family, and fidelity, reflecting the importance of social structure and interpersonal bonds. Poseidon's realm encompassed the seas, the earthquakes, and the unpredictability of natural forces, while Hades maintained the underworld, a domain of death and transformation where souls found their eternal place. Demeter nurtured the fertility of the earth, the cycles of agriculture, and the sustenance of humanity. Hestia tended the hearth, the sacred center of domestic life and ritual, symbolizing stability and warmth. Together, these Olympians provided the scaffolding upon which human civilization, morality, and culture could develop, their roles reflecting the Greeks' belief in the interconnectedness of divine and mortal realms. The creation of humanity in Greek mythology is a tale that intertwines divine purpose, curiosity, and moral testing. According to Hesiod and other sources, humans were crafted by the gods from the elements of earth and water, fashioned to inhabit Gaia's fertile lands and to live in a world governed by divine oversight. Prometheus, the Titan who had been spared during the Titanomachy due to his wisdom and cunning, played a pivotal role in the formation of humankind. He molded humans from clay, shaping them with care, instilling in them the capacity for thought, creativity, and foresight. Yet Prometheus's greatest gift, one that would forever alter the trajectory of human existence, was fire. By stealing fire from the forge of the gods and bestowing it upon humanity, he empowered mortals with the tools of civilization, warmth, protection, craftsmanship, and the ability to transform their environment. This act of defiance, noble yet perilous, exemplifies the recurring tension in Greek mythology between divine authority and human ingenuity, a tension that would resonate throughout countless myths and moral lessons. The gift of fire, however, brought consequences. Zeus, angered by Prometheus's audacity, sought to punish both the Titan and humanity. Prometheus was bound to a rock where an eagle perpetually tore at his liver, a torment both relentless and symbolic of divine retribution. Humanity, too, faced trials, for the flame of knowledge and progress carried with it the burden of mortality, labor, and moral responsibility. Yet the gift of fire also illuminated the human capacity for resilience, innovation, and moral discernment, underscoring the Greeks' recognition of the duality inherent in existence. Every boon carries a burden, and progress is inseparable from challenge. Another pivotal moment in human history, according to Greek myth, was the creation of Pandora. Crafted by Hephaestus under the direction of Zeus, Pandora was the first woman, endowed with beauty, grace, and a curious spirit. Each god contributed to her being, granting her talents, charms, and abilities that made her irresistibly compelling. Yet Pandora also carried with her a jar, often referred to as a box in later traditions, which contained all the evils, miseries, and hardships of the world. Driven by curiosity, she opened the jar, unleashing its contents upon humanity. Only hope remained inside, a reminder that even amidst suffering, the human spirit could endure, adapt, and aspire. The myth of Pandora illustrates the Greeks' understanding of life as a complex interplay of pleasure, pain, curiosity, and consequence, offering a moral reflection on the nature of existence and the human condition. The Olympians, now firmly established, engaged with humanity in ways that were both direct and subtle. Gods descended to intervene in wars, to offer guidance, or to test mortal virtue. Heroes arose, favored or challenged by divine forces, their deeds immortalized in stories that blended human initiative and supernatural influence. The narratives of Perseus, Heracles, Theseus, and countless others illustrate the intertwined destinies of gods and mortals, where divine favor or disfavor could determine success, survival, or tragedy. These stories also reinforce societal values such as courage, loyalty, wisdom, and humility, reflecting the Greeks' belief that human behavior was both observed and shaped by divine forces. Nature itself was imbued with divine presence, reflecting the enduring influence of the primordial and Titan gods within the Olympian order. Rivers, mountains, forests, and celestial bodies were not merely landscapes but living entities, inhabited by nymphs, spirits, and deities who maintained the balance of the natural world. The Greeks perceived the cosmos as a network of interconnected forces, each playing a role in sustaining the delicate equilibrium between life, death, growth, and decay. The stories of gods influencing the seasons, weather, and natural disasters illustrate this holistic vision, where divine intervention and natural law are inseparable. Demeter's grief over the abduction of her daughter Persephone by Hades, which caused the cycle of the seasons, is one of the most poignant examples of this dynamic, demonstrating how myth explained both cosmic and earthly rhythms. Social and moral order in Greek mythology was deeply intertwined with the actions of the gods. Justice, punishment, reward, and ethical conduct were all framed within a divine context. Zeus, as the chief arbiter, maintained a balance, meting out retribution to mortals who defied moral and cosmic law, while rewarding those who acted with wisdom, courage, or piety. The gods themselves were not morally infallible. They experienced jealousy, desire, anger, and affection, reflecting human traits magnified to divine proportions. Yet their narratives served as mirrors and guides for human behavior, offering cautionary tales and exemplars of virtue and vice. By observing the interactions of gods and mortals, the Greeks derived lessons about the consequences of hubris, the importance of respect for natural and divine law, and the enduring power of resilience and ingenuity.
The Olympians also played a role in the establishment of rituals, festivals, and sacred practices. Temples were built in their honor, altars were raised for sacrifices, and ceremonies were conducted to appease or seek favor from specific deities. These practices reinforced social cohesion, moral discipline, and cultural identity, embedding the myths within the daily life of the Greek people. The stories of divine intervention were thus not only entertainment, but also a framework for understanding and structuring human society, blending spiritual reverence with ethical and practical guidance. As humanity flourished under the watchful eyes of the Olympians, the universe settled into a balance of power, morality, and natural order. Chaos, the primordial void, receded into mythic memory, while the forces of Gaia, Uranus, Titans, and Olympians continued to shape existence. The cosmos, now populated by gods, mortals, and myriad spirits, became a dynamic, interwoven tapestry of life, governed by both fate and choice, by divine will and human initiative. The stories of the creation of the world, the rise of the Olympians, and the early interactions with humanity encapsulate the Greeks' vision of a universe that is alive, moral, and profoundly interconnected. In conclusion, the creation myths of Greek mythology, spanning from the formless chaos to the establishment of the Olympian pantheon and the rise of humanity, present a richly detailed and symbolic understanding of the cosmos. They explore themes of power, succession, rebellion, wisdom, morality, and resilience, providing narratives that explain natural phenomena, social structures, and human behavior. The myths of Zeus, Cronus, Prometheus, Pandora, and the Olympians illustrate that creation is not a static event, but a process shaped by struggle, ingenuity, and the complex interplay between divine and mortal forces. They reveal a world where the cosmic, the ethical, and the human are inseparably linked, where life's challenges are opportunities for growth, and where the influence of the divine is ever present, guiding, shaping, and inspiring all existence.
The journey from chaos to the structured cosmos under the Olympians is a testament to the enduring power of myth, to explain, to teach, to inspire, and to connect the human experience to the mysteries of the universe. The Greek creation myths remain timeless, offering insight into the origins of the world, the nature of divinity, and the eternal interplay between order and chaos, power and justice, mortality and the divine. They are stories of beginnings, transformations, and enduring influence, forming the foundation upon which the entire edifice of Greek mythology stands, resonating through art, literature, and cultural consciousness for millennia.